Hey everybody, Get Hooked here, aka Carlos, aka Charlie. So, this is going to be the first official video of me giving my opinions and thoughts on everything from weapons to food to lots of things. Fishing gear, obviously it's an adventure channel, a vlogging channel too, so you know, I'm gonna give you my two-piece on things. To start this off, I'm gonna be talking about two knives that I have received. One through the mail, and one I will get into that story about how I get the knife. So the first knife is gonna be this one. This is the sheath, as you can tell. It's a really nice sheath. This is actually the knife it is a Condor Hudson Bay knife. Let me go ahead and show you guys. It looks nice. It has that walnut handle. As you can see, let me get a better view of it. Yeah, I can see that. Anyways, so about this knife, I went ahead and did a little history on it so you guys know what's going on. So the proud year of this knife dates back to 1787, and that is super old. Oh my gosh! Wow. It was actually founded by, let me see if I don't want to butcher this too much, by Gerb Weisberg Company in Solingen, Germany. The entire length of the knife, let me go ahead and do a quick little measurement for you guys. By the way, this is actually my measuring tape for when I go fishing. So, the exact measurement of this knife is, it looks to be about 13 and 3/8 inches. The blade length of the knife is approximately 8 3/4 inches. I actually acquired this knife from my little brother. It's actually a birthday gift. He knows that I am a legitimate outdoors person, you know, survival, things like that. I never recorded them, but I will be trying to attempt to record them in the future. But yeah, so my little brother actually gave this to me for my birthday, and I've been meaning to do a little video on it. But yeah, so it comes with a really nice sheath and everything. It actually it looks like it has a few years on it. It looks pretty old. And then I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys just about how sharp it is. Give me a second. Okay, so yes, if you're wondering, this is my combat top. I was in the active duty army, no longer in, but I'm still in as a National Guard fighter. I do plan on getting back into active duty eventually. I'm just going through school right now and everything. So let me go ahead and show you guys just how sharp this knife is. I got a piece of paper here. Let's see. I'm gonna run it down. Whoa, that is pretty sharp. Woo! Look at that. Is actually very sharp. That is crazy. There you go. One more time. Yeah. So as you can see, it has a really easy slice on this thin piece of paper. Funny thing about this knife is that when I first got it, I actually was playing with the blade, and the blade was actually sharp enough to cut me pretty deeply. I didn't like pull it across really quickly. I just slightly moved it across the finger just to check the sharpness, and it is sharp. It cut me. I ain't gonna lie. The next video, or the next knife that I will be showing you guys is this knife. So I'm going to show you guys, in case y'all are wondering what this knife is. It is actually, this knife is called the Hoyt Buck 119 Special. So little bit of history about this knife. Hoyt Buck's first product / I guess knife was made from a worn out file in 1902. That's pretty crazy. Obviously we're in the year 2020 now. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, the U.S. government requested blade donations for the military campaign. Hoyt Buck then began making legendary gear by hand. His design would later be known as the Buck Special Buck 119 Special, which is this knife. A little story about this knife and how I acquired it. So, I originally was fishing one day up here in Colorado, and I was in a freshwater lake, and while I was fishing, I actually brought 2 poles that day. I'm so glad I did. I brought my little bait caster reel and rod, and honestly it's probably like maybe 7-pound test line, maybe 8-pound test line, not much. And I was actually fishing, and I got a nibble, and when I pulled it in I was like, oh man, I almost caught fish. So I tossed it back in the same spot. I'm guessing there was a hole there. Well, when I tossed it back in, I hooked something, and it was very, very heavy, or whatever it was not letting go, but it wasn't moving. It was like a stagnant weight. So I'm over here thinking like, there's no way that I hooked onto like a stingray or something, because you know stingrays is pretty much like dead weight. Well, I then went ahead and took my other rod and reel, which is actually a catfish reel, and I originally had like, I think like 100-pound test on it. You never know what you're gonna need that for, right? So I ended up grabbing that, threw that hook out next to where the 6-pound test line is at, and I hooked onto it, whatever it was. And when I pulled it in, I was like, oh man, whatever it is super heavy. I hope it's not like an electric wire or something, or electric thing in the water. So I'm over here pulling it. Eventually, as it gets closer to the surface, I then notice it's actually a tackle box that I reeled in. So I'm like, holy crap. So I thought this is the craziest find. So I pulled the tackle box in, pulled it up on shore, and I went ahead and I opened it up, started going through it. And immediately, when I first opened it, I started noticing, it was one of those little tackle boxes where it has like several layers of little slots. So I opened it up, or first I started looking at all the worn out, I started picking up a bunch of little rusted hooks. And a lot of the hooks were disintegrating when I would touch them. So that's when I noticed, I was like, oh man, this tackle box has been in there for a minute. Well, so I then I opened it up the bottom, and that's when I found this in there. And it actually came with a sheath and everything. But when I pulled it out of the sheath like eventually like fell apart or something, I don't know. It didn't stay together, that's for sure. And when it fell apart, that's when I pulled this out, and I noticed the blade was still intact inside the sheath, along with it being submerged in the water for God knows how long. It's been there for a minute. As you can tell, there's like a bunch of rust stains on the handle. It still looks pretty dirty on the thing. I do plan on cleaning it up, but you can tell it's pretty worn out. It has like crud all on it. So yeah, it was under the water for quite a while, and it is pretty sharp, but it's not that sharp. Anyways, I'll do the test on the paper here in a little bit. I then went ahead and kept looking through the tackle box, and that's when I found this actually some needle nose pliers in there, and they were pretty rusted up. I cleaned them up, but the tips actually broke apart on that needle nose pliers, so it's not a needle nose anymore. It's now regular pliers. But I went ahead and got a hold of a bunch of old lures, and I cleaned them up. And one of these days, I'm gonna try those lures out during fishing, and then we'll come back to that video, and I'll let you guys know how. Obviously, you'll know if I catch something with those lures. But yeah, I think it's just an interesting find that I pulled this out of a tackle box. Let me go ahead and do a little test run, I guess, on this paper while I got it. See how sharp it is. I know it's not that sharp because it's a little jagged on the blade, but let's see. Yeah, it still kind of cuts it. Not as well as the condor over there, but let's see. Yeah, it's not gonna fully cut it. Let's see. I know that was kind of stupid to do, you guys, but as you can tell, it is kind of sharp. But as you can tell, there's a little bit of jagged pieces right there, where it actually tugged on the paper. So not that sharp. I will be sharpening it eventually, but yes, these are both straight edge knives that I have. And the fact that I actually found this in a military, or in a tackle box is really cool. And the fact that this knife actually has history with Hoyt Buck actually creating these knives specifically for the government's military to use. I guess he sold a bunch of his knives through the military, and I'm guessing that's how he got famous. But yes, so Hoyt Buck, you guys. Hoyt Buck 119 Special is the name of this knife, or the brand or model of this knife, which is cool. I really like this knife. I'm glad that I found it, and I actually really like the knife that my brother sent me too. It's probably one of my favorite knives I've ever, like, legit. This is like my favorite knife. It's pretty heavy, but it has a good good weight to it. Like even though it's heavy, I can still swing this very fast. Like, it's really nice, and I can't wait to one of these days get to use this, like cutting up meat and stuff, or doing a catch and cook for you guys with one of these knives. You know what I mean? So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Comment, like, and subscribe for future videos. I will be doing much more. Be looking forward to that. And on that note, don't forget, get hooked on fishing, get hooked on adventures, and get hooked on life, you guys. Get hooked here. Signing off. Thank you.